chance to raise the flag.
Yeah, what a great honor for all these athletes up there to raise the 12-man flag, to represent your country in the Olympics this last year in London. A lot of different sports being represented, whether it's shooting, judo, swimming, track and field. They all deserve this opportunity to be celebrated because they've had some great accomplishments in their athletic careers so far.
While we're talking about Washington State athletes, Stephen Hausker setting up kickoff for the Seahawks, and back deep to receive for the Oakland Raiders, Tywan Jones, who played his college ball at Eastern Washington.
Had a tremendous career at Eastern Washington. He's second all-time in all-purpose yardage there. He did everything. He ran the football, he caught passes, returned punts, returned kickoffs, and the Raiders really like what they have in him. Last year, didn't carry the ball a ton, but whenever he did, he was very effective with it, but plays a lot of different roles on this football team.
And here we go, the last game of the preseason. Jones will watch that go through the end zone, and so the Raiders will begin at the 20-yard line. 7th year in a row, the Raiders and Seahawks have wrapped up the preseason facing one another, and this year, for the first time, Carson Palmer is the quarterback for the Raiders, of course, coming over last year after his little holdout with the Cincinnati Bengals for 2 first-round draft picks, and now gets to go through an offseason in a camp in Oakland.
Yeah, these two teams used to be in the same division, the AFC West. They were the big rivals of one another at one time, and now they get a chance to play each other every year, like you said, in the preseason final for both football teams.
And so here we go on first down from the 20. That's Jones, the Eastern Washington product, and he gets nowhere. Caught in the backfield right away. I mean, they really didn't give him an opportunity before Alan Branch made the tackle. And here's a look at this offense for the Oakland Raiders. You're going to see some of these guys. You'll see some of these guys for a little while. You'll see some of these guys standing on the sideline most of the night.
Well, the starters aren't going to play a whole lot. Everybody just wants to try and get these guys the last little tune-up in, maybe a series or two, just so they don't sit around for 2 weeks before they play a meaningful game next week. And this is what you're going to see tonight out of both of these football teams.
Once again, stopped in the backfield, Jones, and this time he loses about 3 yards on the play. Chris Clemens, the first guy to get there, and this Seahawks defense has played so well this preseason, particularly in the starting unit.
No question about it. The penetration is what's really impressed me this whole preseason. That's one of the reasons teams haven't been able to run against them, because of the penetration at the point of attack. They always force teams to have to go the other way, and then the pursuit gets them there. This team really is powerful in the middle of the defense with those 2 big defensive tackles, and then they really run well on the outside. They can track down pretty much any back in this league.
All right, so a 1-yard gain by Jones and then a 3-yard loss. And so it's 3rd and 12. They hand it off. Jones cuts it back inside. Nice move as he picks up the first down. 15-yard run by Jones.
And that's just something you haven't seen a bunch against this Seahawks defense so far this preseason, is any long runs. That time Jones was able to cut back on that run. Nobody on the backside pursuit. There's a missed tackle right there, and that kind of added to the reason why Jones was able to get the first down.
So from 3rd and long to a first down at the 33-yard line. Mike Goodson now in at running back. Cuts it through, and Goodson picks up a couple of yards. And, you know, if you're like a football freak, you see this offense looks a little familiar that the Seahawks are facing, that one-cut zone blocking scheme, and that's because the offensive coordinator now, there's Greg Knapp, who used to be here with the Seahawks, and so this defense should be more familiar with this offense than they are most in the running game.
No question they'll be familiar with the blocking schemes, the way those offensive linemen come off and try and zone block. They'll also try and cut you, try and get you on the ground. That's something I'm sure defensive linemen of the Seahawks are not going to like very much, having guys go at your knees.
Goodson again. KJ Wright along with Bobby Wagner on the stop. 2 yards on the gain. And those are the 2 young guys that the Seahawks are kind of counting on right now. Last year, KJ Wright was the young guy who was starting at middle linebacker. Now they moved him over, and Bobby Wagner is the rookie who's starting at middle linebacker.
And Bobby Wagner is really leaning on KJ Wright a bunch as far as learning that middle linebacker spot, because KJ Wright was in the middle last year when he came here as a rookie. So he knows that position, and he can kind of help Bobby Wagner as he goes along in that learning process throughout the preseason.
Wagner has done an impressive job so far. another run. Chris Clemens right there to shut it down. Tywan Jones tried to cut. Clemens would have none of it.
Well, everybody on the defense just stayed on their blocks, just played off their blocks. Chris Clemens did a great job that time against the tight end right there. Just kind of plays off of his block and then slides outside and makes the tackle there for almost a loss, I think, on the play. So the Seahawks very good on this series, giving up the 1 first down, but shutting down the Raiders there as the Raiders ran the ball 6 straight times.
One of the best in the league, Shane Leckler, on to boot that one away. Golden Tate had the big punt return last week for the touchdown. He won on this one. Keeps on fighting, doesn't pick up much. And so Russell Wilson will take over from there. First time in front of the home crowd as the starting quarterback of the Seahawks. Their first possession here in this preseason finale. Final instructions for his first home game as the official starter of the Seattle Seahawks. Actually, first game period as the official starter. Russell Wilson, those numbers there tell everything you need to know.
It's an outstanding preseason by Russell Wilson. He's going to try and culminate it tonight with a little bit of playing time just to keep sharp.
And the 4th round pick, Robert Turbin, on the run. 5, maybe 6 yards on the play. Once again, this is the same story as the Raiders have for all teams around the league. You won't see a whole lot of playing time for these starters, just kind of a last-minute tune-up here before the regular season starts.
Well, that's one of the great things about this offense so far this preseason. 5 yards on that first down. This offense is averaging 5.6 yards a carry throughout the preseason, so they have really run the football very well, which sets up everything else they want to do with the play-action pass.
Well, they picked up 5 on that first down. Here's the play fake out of the backfield. Fullback Michael Robinson slips a tackle and picks up a first down out across the 40-yard line. And Pro Bowl fullback looking good here.
And you have to be so conscious of the run. Good run fake right here by Wilson. And there's Robinson wide open in the right flat as everybody's looking for a run right there by the Seahawks. 2nd and 5 allows you to do that type of thing. When you have 2nd and 5, you have so many different options to you play calling wise. It really keeps the defense on their heels.
First down, they spotted it at the 39. Wilson with time. Up top, Sidney Rice wide open into Raider territory. And that's a connection the Seahawks will look to time and time again once the regular season begins.
Yeah, he's one of the big questions about the Seahawks this year. If Sidney Rice can stay healthy, he can be one of the premier receivers in this league. That time, Golden Tate did a nice job of running the corner off on that side, allowing Sidney Rice to go into that dead area over there against the deep defense and find that crease, and that's where Russell Wilson hit him with that pass.
22 yards on the reception. Our first flag of the ball game.
We don't have too many men on the field, looks like. All the Raiders were trying to get off the field late.
Jerry Frump, our referee tonight.
But if he was trying to get off the field, he still had time because the ball hadn't been snapped yet. So maybe that's not the penalty. But then with these officials, you never know.
We'll see.
There is no flag for illegal substitution. Snap was not imminent.
Yep.
First down.
You got it exactly right.
There's no reason for them to blow the whistle right there.
That's my bad. I just pick it up and pretend it never happened.
Yes. Just add that to the list.
So the Seahawks line up again on first down. Turbin, big hole. Closed pretty quickly. He still got 5 yards. This Raiders defense, if this were a normal game, would be a pretty good challenge, particularly up front. They've got some young linebackers, and they went out in their secondary and signed a couple of old veterans, their old Ram, Rod Bartell, and the former 49er, Shante Spencer, just to try and line up something there in the secondary to feel a little bit more comfortable. Kellen Winslow in motion. Wilson. Oh, miscommunication with Braylon Edwards.
It didn't look like Braylon was ready for that football, and Russell had to get rid of it very quickly because he was under a lot of pressure right there. McClain hits him just as he's throwing the football. They had some pressure coming in on him. That's one thing that Russell Wilson will do. He'll stand in there and he'll take some hits. We saw him take a couple of illegal hits last week against the Kansas City Chiefs, but he still completed those fast.
He told us in the meeting this week, he said, I don't flinch. No matter what, I don't flinch. Needs to pick up the 29-yard line for the first. Up top. Going up to grab it, Golden Tate. Was he in bounds? Yes.
I have a feeling this one might get challenged. So if the Seahawks are smart, they'll get up on the football and try and run a play. And I think they're going to try and do that because I think Golden Tate landed out of bounds.
They got it off. Quick run, Robert Turbin inside the 5-yard line.
I'd love to see that pass reception one more time to Golden Tate. See if he actually did land in bounds. Flag on the play, huh?
That's a challenge flag from the Raiders. Now, did they get it in there before the ball was snapped? Nobody seemed to see it. Doesn't mean it didn't get there now, in all fairness, but none of the officials saw it before, neither did we.
This is going to be interesting to see if it did get...
Completed catch.
Well, they are giving them the challenge there.
Wow.
So apparently it was on the field, or they're calling it that way. And so the previous play, the pass to Golden Tate, being reviewed. We'll take a look at it when we return. And so the question was Golden Tate inbounds or out of bounds on the big catch? We'll take another look at it as the officials do right now.
It was a great effort by Golden Tate. He has this ability as 5'10" to go up over guys and make these type of catches, but there's one foot that's probably on the line, and the other one definitely doesn't come down in bounds. So I think he was out of bounds, but the question was, did the Raiders get the challenge flag thrown in time? And I don't think they did, because I was looking at that side of the field to make sure the challenge flag didn't come before the snap of the ball, but this officiating crew somehow gave him that opportunity, and they're probably going to overturn this.
Yeah, there's Dennis Allen, the first-year head coach of the Raiders, and they're saying that he did get it out in time, at least according to their estimation, because they gave it to him. Jerry Frump ready to make the call.
After further review, receiver's foot came out on the line as a result of this incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down, 6 to go on the 35-yard line. Please reset the game clock. 8 minutes and 20 seconds.
Well, once they went to the replay, it was clear that he was going to be called out of bounds.
Well, the Seahawks did the smart thing of getting up with the hurry-up offense to try and get that play off, because they weren't sure at that time. I'm sure they hadn't seen the play, but probably had a good feeling that it might have been out of bounds. So you try and get a play off quickly before a challenge comes. They did the right thing. It's just that the officials gave the Raiders the opportunity to have it challenged.
And so Stephen Hauschka will come on to attempt a 53-yard field goal. This will be his longest attempt of the preseason. And it's drifting, gonna miss it. So Hauschka's 2 misses this preseason, both over 50 yards. We remain scoreless, and the Seahawks defense back on the field trying to get a repeat of the way they played in that first series. Seahawks football is presented by Washington's Lottery and the Department of Imagination. Approaching the halfway point of this first quarter, Kurt Menefee along with Warren Moon, Seahawks and Raiders wrapping up the preseason here at Century Link. Each team has had the football once. Neither team has scored. Stephen Hauschka missed a 53-yard field goal attempt the last time Seattle touched the ball. Matt Leinart, now the new quarterback for the Raiders, under pressure right away, tipped, and it falls incomplete. Good job by the Seattle defense, and eventually Jay Howard got in there and got a hand on the football.
Well, the Seahawks had pressure coming that time, and when Jay Howard did get the tip on the football, if this pass is complete, the Raiders had a pretty good play call because it was the right type of play called against that defense. But as you can see, because the play was tipped, that kind of ruined the whole timing of the play, almost intercepted by a Seahawk.
Leinart to pass again. Zipping that one right in the middle. Broken up. Incomplete. There's a late flag. Byron Maxwell going against Traviante Session. Session, the intended receiver. And it looked like Maxwell had gotten there to swat it away, but the flag came from back behind the line of scrimmage.
It was a very late flag, too, especially if it was for pass interference.
Defensive pass interference, number 32, automatic first step to spot of the foul.
Well, not only was it a bad call, but they got the wrong guy for the penalty. They called it on Jerron Johnson, and it was Byron Maxwell who actually broke that pass up. I think it's pretty good coverage right there.
13-yard penalty. Puts the ball at the 44-yard line. Leinart rolling. Chased out of bounds. Going to lose about a half yard on the play. Mike Morgan ran him out. Of course, Matt Leinart, the former Heisman Trophy winner, played under Pete Carroll at USC.
Yes, he did. And that was Mike Morgan, another USC Trojan, chasing him on that play. And Mike Morgan showed great speed as Leinart was outside of him. A nice fake on the bootleg. But Mike Morgan really made some great makeup speed on that play. And Leinart ended up losing a yard on the play. I think he takes a sack on that play, doesn't he?
Yes, he should. Well, he should. From the shotgun, Tywan Jones makes the catch at the 40, doesn't get any more after the catch. Wrapped up almost immediately by Malcolm Smith. Well, these linebackers playing well so far in this game.
Yeah, another USC Trojan, former USC Trojan, Malcolm Smith, who missed a lot of the training camp because of a hamstring injury, but he's another one of those guys that can just really run to the football, and he does a good job in coverage right there on Jones. Jones catches the football but goes nowhere after the catch because of great pursuit by Malcolm Smith.
So it's 3rd down and 6. From the shotgun, Leinart pump fake, throws it up, caught. Right along the sideline, down to the 25-yard line. 15 yards on the reception by Brandon Carswell.
Well, the Raiders are going to do the same thing. The Raiders are going to try and get up to the football quickly because here comes a challenge flag from Pete, and Pete actually got that challenge flag out in plenty of time.
Here goes Jerry Fump.
See, I think Brandon Carswell was bobbling that football as he went out of bounds. I don't think he had complete control of it with both feet in bounds. As you see him bobbling right there, and he only got, I think, 1 foot down, and the other foot came out of bounds before he had full possession of the football. So we'll see what the interpretation is by the official. But
rule on the field of a completed catch.
There's 1 foot, and the other one didn't come down when he had possession.
Oh, remember, it's catch and control. So another challenge, this time the Seahawks challenging the Raiders catch. Seahawks and Raiders have had more challenges than points so far in this game. Each team has challenged 1 time, the latest being whether or not this was a reception along the sideline.
Well, I think the question is going to be where the official thinks he actually had possession of the football, and when that possession, did he have 1 foot in bounds before he got that 2nd foot in, or if he didn't think he had possession when that 1 foot was down, then he only had 1 foot in. So that's going to be the big question, where he thinks the possession actually was. Here he goes up for the catch. There's the bobble. And it just depends on it whether he thinks he had possession when that 1 foot was down. Right there. I'm not sure.
And remember, it was ruled a catch, so they have to see evidence to overturn it.
Right.
That it was not a catch, and this is going to be close. We're trying to find a way to say that it wasn't.
It's taking a while.
Yeah.
That's how unsure he is right now of that possession, because a lot of times when it takes this long, either they're having a very difficult time of figuring that out, or they're looking to see where the ball is going to be placed back to and how much time they should put back on the clock.
Exactly.
As was the case of the Seahawks challenge.
Exactly. Well, so much has been made of the replacement officials, and of course tonight is their final preseason game. The league announced that they will officiate week 1 during the regular season, as the impasse with the old or regular guard is still there with the lockout in effect. Here's the call from Jerry Fump. Looks like he's ready.
After further review, the receiver got control of the ball, but his right foot was in the air. It came down out of bounds, so the ruling's an incomplete pass.
good challenges by both head coaches so far early in this ball game. And again, a big question was whether he had possession when that 1 foot was down, and they ruled that he didn't have that possession and only got 1 foot down. So good challenge by the Seahawks, and they'll get the football back.
Yeah, same result. Call overturned, brings up a 4th down. And so now Golden Tate will stand back and try to get a return of this punt from Shane Leckler. High kick inside the 10. This is why this guy is so good. Down at the 9-yard line. Second possession for the Seahawks tonight, and that last drive was one of the few this preseason that didn't end up in points with Russell Wilson at quarterback. 12 of the 18 drives he had engineered and ended up in points, either a field goal or a touchdown.
That's a pretty good percentage by a quarterback. If my quarterback, I asked him to go out there 18 times and he gets 12 scores, I'm going to like that percentage every time.
Starting deep in his own territory here at the 9-yard line. Turbin, Robert Turbin, picks up a couple of yards, and that's it. Here's a young man that has really impressed every opportunity he's gotten. He's gotten a lot because of Marshawn Lynch. He's had a sore back, not playing tonight. Hasn't played a lot this preseason, and Turbin leads the team in rushing and number of catches this preseason.
Yeah, he's been very, very productive, averaging about 4.6 yards a carry, and just doing good in every position, everything he's asked to do as a running back. Blocking against pass coverage, running the football, and catching the football.
Here he cuts it back. Good example of that. Give him 4 yards on a play. It looked like he might have been stopped in the backfield, but that cut gave him yardage.
That's one of the things that has really impressed me about him is his patience when he carries the football. He's a guy that comes out of a spread type of offense, a lot of shotgun offense, but he's really adapted to this one-cut system and this cutback system, and done a very good job so far early in training camp, and now as he's progressed throughout the preseason.
Wilson from the shotgun on 3rd down. Oh, wide open. Broken up. Incomplete. Big hit delivered by Matt Giordano, the safety.
Yeah, that's what Russell Wilson might want to throw more on the line. He kind of put too much air on this football. He had Deion Butler open early as he runs kind of a switch route. If that ball is put more on the line, he's able to bring that in before Giordano gets over there to make the big hit on him. But good play by Giordano, knocking that ball loose from Deion Butler.
Butler, another one of those guys trying to make the team this year. A lot of depth at receiver. We'll get into those battles as the game goes on. John Ryan from his 5. Roscoe Parrish just signed this week. His first return as a Raider. And he's a good return man. Chased down from behind. Ball came out. Bruce Irvin, the first-round pick, made the tackle and jarred the ball loose.
And it was a vicious tackle, too. And Bruce Irvin has great speed.
Well, if John Ryan's officiating, he says we have the ball. And he was right. The Seahawks recovered. Heath Farwell, special teams ace, gets the recovery.
So there's Irvins with the hit, and you see the ball come out. There's no question there's a fumble on the play. It's just who recovered it, and it was Heath Farwell, another great special team player, but that's what Bruce Irvin brings to the table. Great speed on those special teams, and when he gets to the football, he hits you with a bunch of violence, and that ball came out as Parrish was only a guy about 168 pounds. Not the biggest guy in the world, but a very good return man.
His first return as a Raider, not a good one. No. Fumbled the football at the 38-yard line. Wilson still in the quarterback. Hands it off. No, fake handoff. Middle of the field, threw it too high, almost picked off. Kellen Winslow was the intended receiver, flag down on the play as well, but Wilson lucky that wasn't intercepted.
Looks like they're calling the illegal man downfield. Russell Wilson uncharacteristically high on that pass. He hasn't been very accurate so far early in this football game.
Ineligible downfield on the offense, number 65. That penalty's declined. Second down.
Well, they sent Frank Omayel, went downfield too early. He shouldn't have been downfield at all, probably.
No, it was a play-action pass.
Exactly.
I don't think he should have been downfield either, but we'd have to look at the tape to see if he was really down the field. But I'm more concerned about him missing that wide-open pass to Kellen Winslow Jr.
Yeah, as you said, Wilson has been just a little bit off tonight, but he's a rookie, and that's why he's probably playing more than a normal starter would in his 4th preseason game. Needing the repetitions. Throws this one. Now he connects. Anthony McCoy inside the 20. He was open, and Wilson found him.
And I just love the play-action passing game that the Seahawks have incorporated in this offense. They get you going with the running game, and all of a sudden they play-action pass, and there's receivers running wide open, as we saw Kellen Winslow Jr. the play before. That time, Anthony McCoy sneaking behind those linebackers right in front of the safety on that particular pass, and Russell hits him right in stride.
20-yard pickup. McCoy in motion. Craig Lumpkin. And Lumpkin picks up a couple of yards on the play.
Most of the starting offensive line is still in the ball game. As you said, Frank Omayel is in there at left tackle for Russell Okun. And I think the rest of the guys are all starters in the football game on that offensive line, trying to keep Russell. Maybe Jean-Pierre. Lemuel Jean-Pierre is in there at center right now, so it looks like they took out Max Unger.
Here's the handoff to Lumpkin, cuts it back. Lumpkin still going, down inside the 10-yard line. Flags on the play, however.
Yeah, it comes in that area of probably offensive holding. A nice run by Craig Lumpkin that time. He's had a nice preseason as well. All these Seahawk running backs have done very well this preseason.
Now this running game has been spectacular.
Holding on the offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay second down.
Alan Barber. Got called for the hold, and so that'll back him up. And this second team offensive line now, a lot of different guys in there, and they're beginning to look a bit like guys that haven't had a lot of playing time. Omayel with the penalty, now Barber with the penalty. Backs the Seahawks up from the 27. Lumpkin with a little dump off. Picks up 6 yards. Still will be 3rd and long.
Well, smart play by Russell Wilson that time. He sees nothing down the football field. He wanted to go a little bit deeper, but he dumps it off to his back and just gets some positive yards back. Some of those yards they lost on that penalty. The main thing you want to do right here is, if anything, try and get a field goal. You're in field goal range. You don't want to take a sack here. You don't want to make the field goal attempt any longer than it needs to be. But if you can get a few more yards here and possibly even a first down, you try and do it. But just don't force the football.
Another play fake. Golden Tate. No, pardon me. That's Craig Lumpkin again. No, it's Vitala.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll see the numbers. These new uniforms a little bit difficult from up here, but still no excuse. Vitala, the fullback, gets the catch and moves the chains for a first down.
Well, the Raiders playing a little bit soft in their zone defense, and Tower kind of sneaks out the backfield in that right flat. Russell Wilson finds him over there, and he's able to turn upfield and get enough for the first down. So good job by the Seahawks on 3rd and long, picking up that first down.
13-yard gain to the 8-yard line, 1st and goal. Lumpkin, nowhere to go, right into the arms of Jack Crawford.
Jack Crawford got very good penetration that time, and once he beat the tackle to the inside, that meant Tower would have to try and pick him up, and his man was actually the outside linebacker. So a good job by Crawford creating that penetration that really stymied that running play by the Seahawks that time.
And you see, he went to Penn State, but he was born and raised in England. Moved to Detroit when he was a sophomore in high school. Now playing professional football. Wilson. Tower bobbled it, couldn't catch it. thinking about scoring there before he had the football.
And that's one of the things young players have to understand. In this game, you have to be consistent if you're going to try and make the football team. On the 3rd and 12, he goes 13 yards and makes a first down. Here he has a chance to catch that same football on the other side of the football field and possibly get in the end zone for a touchdown, and he drops it. So they're going to look at that and say, he caught one, he made a good play, but then comes back and makes a negative play. That's not going to show good as a young player.
So now 3rd and goal. Wilson zips that one and broken up. Pass was intended for Ben Obumanu, but there in the coverage, DeMarcus Van Dyke.
Russell might have to deliver that ball just a little bit earlier. When you get down inside this 10-yard line, that defender doesn't have as much ground to cover because he's got the back of the end zone behind him, so he can play a little bit tighter on those receivers. So he's got to let that ball go just a little bit quicker. That way Van Dyke can't come up and make that play from behind.
So Hauska, who missed a 53-yarder earlier, will try this one from 25 yards out. And it's good. And so the fumbled punt return by Roscoe Parrish turned into points by the Seahawks, and they take the first lead of the ball game, 3-0.
Well, Russell Wilson getting some good playing time here tonight, even though he's playing with a lot of the backup players right now. That's one of the chances you take having your starting quarterback in with a lot of backup offensive linemen. He's also in there with a lot of the backup wide receivers, backup running backs. But as a young player, as a rookie, he needs these snaps. He needs to get as many snaps as he possibly can. So you're taking that risk that maybe he gets dinged or gets hurt in a game like this, but you also want to get him that playing time to get him fresh, or get him, to keep him sharp for that first opening game next week against the Arizona Cardinals on the road.
So 1:05 left to go here in this first quarter. Seahawks with the lead, and Pete Carroll trying to fire up Ben Obumanu and maybe some of these other guys.
I see Matt Flynn warming up on the sideline, so I'm sure he'll be coming into the game shortly. Don't know if Russell's going to go another series or not, but Matt should get some good playing time tonight before giving way maybe to Josh Fortis in the second half.
One would suspect that Flynn will take over from here now that we've seen Russell Wilson for 3 series, but you never know.
That's one of the things I want to see about Russell, make that Matt Flynn, is how well he responds tonight after not winning that starting job, coming here as a free agent, being paid a pretty decent sum of money, and thinking he had a pretty good shot of being the starting quarterback for the Seahawks.
Hauska kicks that one through the end zone. So another touchback. There's Leinart. And here's a guy who's looking to revitalize his career again. That first-round pick in the Arizona Cardinals, and it didn't work out there. Went to Houston, and he thought when Matt Schaub got hurt last year, he'd have a chance. But in that first game, he injured his shoulder. Wound up being replaced, and now in Oakland trying to make a name for himself, or regain his name.
Yeah, he just hasn't had a lot of good luck in this league so far, and he's hoping the Raiders are the place to do it. He's playing behind Carson Palmer, somebody he played behind at USC in college before he got his opportunity.
Tywan Jones, nowhere to run. Loses yardage on the play. Pretty much pick anybody in blue on that one.
I'll tell you what, this Seahawks defense, it doesn't matter who's in the football game. This defense plays the same way. They are really aggressive. They really get up the field, and they do a nice job of staying in the run lanes. Here you see the penetration. That right there is going to stop any running play. It makes that running back have to stop and restart again. That's all the defense needs in order to get that pursuit to the football. And there you see all those blue shirts around it, led by Winston Guy.
2-yard loss. Jones tries to cut it and go hard. Got back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Alan Bradford with the stop.
Some good hitting going on down there by these young guys. They all know that they're on the watch tonight. They are being watched very, very closely by the Seahawks coaching staff, by the Seahawks scouting department, by the general manager. And there's going to be a lot of big decisions made over the next couple of days as to who makes this football team. And all these guys are aware of it.
Yeah, and some guys have 3 quarters left to play. Others 3 quarters left to impress. It's 3-0 after 1. Seahawks and Raiders in the preseason finale. Seahawks with a field goal, the only scoring in the first quarter as we are ready to start quarter number 2 here in Seattle. Long third down for the Oakland Raiders. Matt Leinart still in at quarterback. Leading the 30-yard line. Leinart to his right, bobbled, incomplete. Treviante Session, the wide receiver. Byron Maxwell right there to make sure he didn't catch it with his second effort.
Again, just aggressive play by the Seahawks defense, this time out of the secondary by Byron Maxwell, the second-year player from Clemson. Just comes up, and even though he dropped that football, he wasn't going to go very far if he would have caught it right there. He probably would have lost yards, so it's probably better that he did drop the football. But just a good play by Byron Maxwell, dissecting what they were trying to do with the bubble screen and making the play as the ball arrived.
Golden Tate back deep. From the 23. Flags flying as Tate wrapped up at the 40-yard line. Let's see what the penalty is. It's been one of the busier nights we've seen here in the preseason with these officials. Maybe they're getting in regular season form for next week.
Seahawks did a nice job last week with penalties. Only 4 penalties in that football game after having 7 against Denver. So far in this.
After the return, number 45 on the return team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
That's the 3rd penalty tonight in the football game. A couple of holding penalties by the offensive line the last series, and that penalty right there. So
Sean McGrath was called for it. Matt Flynn now taking the field, and looks like he's going to take over at quarterback for the first time tonight. We'll see Flynn under center when we return. Just getting underway here in the second quarter. Seahawks on top of the Raiders 3-0. Russell Wilson's night is done. 5 for 11, 72 yards. Matt Flynn now takes over, getting his first snaps under center in a couple of weeks. Of course, he didn't play last week in Kansas City due to a sore elbow. Lumpkin spinning his way out for a couple of yards. That get tackled right at the 3-yard line. He lost the football for a second. Anthony McCoy wound up recovering it.
That's one of the things Greg Lumpkin doesn't want to do in this football game is turn the football over. That's something that Pete Carroll, as a defensive coach, hates. He hates turnovers. He loves to create them on the other side of the football, but wants his offense to hang on to it so he doesn't have to put his defense out on the football field.
After the 2-yard gain, second down. Flynn's first pass to the sideline, caught. Vitawa. You know, the thing about Matt Flynn, as you talked about it in the pregame show, this is an opportunity to show that he's not content with being a backup, but he's also got to show the coaches that should something happen, he can still be a starter in this league.
That's right. They want to see the competitor in him tonight. They want to see him come out and play with some fire, play kind of pissed off, so to speak, and also show that he can be the guy if something happened to Russell, if he didn't play well, if he got injured, that he can go out in the field and play the game the way it needs to be played. He's used to being a backup. He's been that for the last 4 years, but still try and play the game with a chip on your shoulder.
Here he is, quick pass on third down, broken up. No flags on the play. Ball was intended for Ben Obomanu. Pat Lee swatted it away.
Well, nice bump and run man-for-man coverage by Pat Lee. He's right there. A little bit of contact as he's grabbing onto Obomanu. You probably would have thought you saw a flag as we've seen some flags on some more questionable plays earlier in this ball game, but no flag there against Ben Obomanu as the crowd sees it and doesn't like it very much.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise. No penalty on the play, so John Ryan, who kicked his last one 57 yards, will get another shot with a long field. Roscoe Parrish, last time he touched it, he fumbled it. Led to the only points of the ball game as the Seahawks recovered and then got a field goal. Eventually Parrish bobbled that one. Still in bounds. Did the Seahawks recover it in bounds?
I think they're going to say it was out of bounds. It came back in bounds.
Robert Turbin was the first to get it. Jeremy Lane fell down on top of the football. Now let's see once again. You can see Roscoe Parrish was trying to straighten out his helmet, but he's 0 for 2 in punt returns tonight.
Well, he didn't even have his chin strap buttoned up when that ball was in the air, and he struggled to try and get it snapped up while that ball was in the air and barely got it snapped as he's trying to zero in on the football. Turbin's on top of it right there, but he was out of bounds and the ball came back inbounds, so I think that's a play that's going to stay with the Raiders' possession.
Pete Carroll is challenging.
Ruling on the field is a muff punt. Possession of the ball was not obtained before the man was out of bounds. So it's first step throw.
I'll be honest with you, I don't understand his explanation.
Well, there's a lot of those around the league, but as I saw it, Robert Turbin had a chance to jump on the football while
possession after the punt.
Okay, so now Seattle is challenging. A little bit of confusion here. Maybe we'll straighten it out during the break. Well, the Seahawks are challenging this call, and the call was that Robert Turbin was out of bounds when he recovered the football. That was muffed by Roscoe Parrish.
Well, it looked like he had possession of the football, but if you look at his left elbow is out of bounds right there, and I think that's where they're going to call that ball being out of bounds. It'll be Raiders possession. But again, I could be wrong.
Well, the Turbin's showing some hustle. They're on special teams. And it looks like Jerry Frumpf is ready to make the call this time. Third challenge of the game so far, 2 by Seattle. We're still early in the second quarter.
Well, it's the preseason. You might as well get them out of the way now.
After further review, the punt was muffed. The Seattle player never gained possession before he went out of bounds. The ruling on the field is confirmed. First down for Oakland. Seattle will be charged with timeout.
And that was the right ruling if you look at the replay.
It was the right call. The fans aren't happy about it, but it was the right call. And
what's going through Roscoe Parrish's mind right now, though? He just got signed this week. And as we said, he's been back for 2 punts, fumbled one, muffed the other, and lucky that the Seahawks didn't recover it.
You might be thinking about what other teams you think need a returner right now.
Yeah. I mean, he was so good for so long in Buffalo. Back in 07 and 08, led the league in punt returns. Only player ever to do that in back-to-back years. Went to San Diego this preseason and was cut. Raiders picked him up, and tonight certainly won't help him. So the Raiders retain the football at the 20-yard line. Leinart under pressure. Mike Morgan was coming around the corner, forced Leinart to throw that ball as he was getting hit. And Mike Morgan played well last week in Kansas City and picking right up where he left off tonight.
He really has shown up the last couple of weeks. You see him coming off the screen right here. Matt Leinart's right, and he hits him just as he throws that football. That's one of the reasons why that ball died like it did. That's Trojan hitting Trojan right there.
Got a lot of those Trojans out here on this football field, though.
Well, there's a lot of Trojans all over the National Football League, and Pete Carroll has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, recruited a lot of them. Leinart, Eric Gordon wrapped up right away. Malcolm Smith. Oh! A lot of blue jerseys and helmets come flying, and Byron Maxwell looked slow to get up after that big hit.
Malcolm Smith, another USC Trojan on that tackle, and a lot of other blue shirts come in there and clean it up. That's what I said before this game started tonight. You're going to see a lot of young players flying around to the football trying to make an impression on these coaches as Malcolm Smith makes the initial hit, but there's 4 more blue shirts come in to clean him up.
Pressure again. Leinart steps up. Intercepted. Jeremy Lane with the pick. Down the sideline. Lane forced out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. Another turnover created by the Seattle defense.
Jeremy Lane's another one of those young defensive backs for the Seahawks that's played pretty well this preseason whenever he's had a chance to play. Here he comes up with the interception off the tip pass, just being alert of the football, and that's part of this ball-hawking defense. They are so aggressive to the football when they see it in the air. If that ball's thrown better, it could be a completion, but if it's not thrown very well, this Seahawks defense is going to jump on it.
Seahawks came into the game with 8 takeaways on defense. They've got 9 on defense tonight, 10 on the season. With that 8 takeaways coming into the game, 3rd best in the preseason for the entire league. And
2 scores off of those defensive turnovers. You got to stopping the action right here.
The previous play is under review.
Okay, now what could be under review with this one? I mean,
it's not a challenge.
No. Now remember, they review all turnovers and scores this year, but this was clearly a pick. The only thing I could think of, we'll take a look at the replay, was whether or not he was down before he got back up and ran. If he was touched down, it'll affect the spotting of the football, obviously.
Yeah, maybe he was touched by Brandon Coswell after the interception, but we'll see right here. I don't think so. I think he's free to get up, and I think his teammates let him know that. That ball clearly too high, and he's definitely not touched right there, so he's able to get up and return this football as he did. So I don't know exactly what they're looking at. Maybe right there,
yeah, he was
but
touched.
He wasn't down on the ground.
He was touched as he was falling down on the ground, but he wasn't forced to the ground.
Yeah, he would have to be down on the ground and touch down. But again, it's a judgment call here, and we'll see what what his interpretation of the play is.
Jeremy Lane, one of those guys in the secondary looking to make this team, and he's been one of those guys, we've seen him all preseason long make a play, but then make a mistake.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about with young players. They have to be consistent. That's what the coaches want to see. Are you doing the right thing the majority of the time, all the time? And that's what they're looking for. They don't want a guy that's going to make a great play, then all of a sudden a bonehead play the next time around. They want guys that are being consistent all the time. And that's one of the reasons why Russell Wilson, as a rookie quarterback, is a starter right now. He has not made bonehead plays. He's been very consistent throughout the whole preseason. I tell you what, it's going to take us to about midnight to get to halftime.
Well, it's been enough reviews, I tell you, throughout this football game so far. There's still 12 minutes left in the first half.
Well, this is the last warm-up for everybody. Last warm-up for these players before the regular season. And the last warm-up for these replacement officials who are going to start the regular season, as you talked about earlier, all around the National Football League. And even if the officials are able to come to some type of...
However, the runner was down by contact. It'll be Seattle's ball on the 39-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 12 minutes and 13 seconds. 12 minutes and 13 seconds. Thank you.
So they are going to say that Carswell forced him down by contact. You know, look, you either have to be touched while you're down, or, you know, you can be tripped in the open field, make a tackle, whatever. That has to be the impetus for you going down. He was falling down already. Carswell touching him was not the impetus for him falling down. Therefore, he should not have been considered down by contact.
I bet you Carswell doesn't even realize he touched him. But it was saw by the film, so that's what they're going to go by.
It was a bad call, in my opinion. Back to the 39. Flynn steps up. McGrath. Sean McGrath gets a bunch of those yards back to the 15-yard line. Pickup of 24.
Nice pass by Matt Flynn that time. Gets it right over the outstretched arms of this linebacker. Just enough trajectory on that football to get it in there to McGrath. And they really like McGrath. He catches the football. He's a very, very good blocker. And that's one of those positions we talked about tonight with him and Matt McCoy. I mean, that Anthony McCoy at the same position. One of these guys, if they're only going to keep 3 tight ends, might have to go.
Vitale, the fullback, plowing into the pile. Looks like a gain of 3, maybe 4 on the run. But tight end, one of those battles we'll keep an eye on tonight. And really, when you look at it, Seahawks have a lot of position battles this year, but it's because they've got a lot of depth this year.
That is something that's very impressive about this team. They have so much talent. There's scouts from all over the league looking at their players each and every week in the press box, and that's a good sign that the scouting department, John Schneider and the rest of his team is doing a great job of finding young talent.
The end around, Ben Obamanu. Can't dance free. Brandon Underwood on the tackle, and the Raiders really sniffed that one out early.
Yeah, they did a good job of staying at home on the backside. Really didn't fool them. The front side did a pretty nice job, but on the backside, this is where they did a good job of staying at home, staying in their lanes. Good pursuit right there. They had a couple of blockers out in front, but good job over there by the cornerback on that side of the field.
5-yard loss on the play. Seahawks can get a first down at the 5-yard line. Out of the backfield, Tawa, and Tawa doesn't get far. Going to be stopped short of the first down. So Stephen Hauschka will come on to attempt a field goal again.
A bit impressed with number 56, Miles Burris, for the Raiders. He's done a nice job making tackles in the open field. Once he gets his hands on guys, they go down.
4th-round pick out of San Diego State for the Raiders. And here's Hauschka. This one from 29 yards away. He's already got a 25-yarder tonight. And so 2 turnovers by the Seahawks recovered. 2 field goals by the Seahawks on the scoreboard. Pair of field goals, and Seattle has a 6-0 lead right now in the second quarter.
You'd love to be able to make those turnovers into touchdowns, but we'll take the 3 points. As long as you get points off of those turnovers, that's great. And that's something they've done a nice job all preseason long. When they have forced those turnovers by the opponent, they've been able to capitalize on them most of the time.
What's with that mustache? I mean, he's the backup quarterback. He should have more time to shave, right? Troy Francis, who for 3 preseason games was a Seahawk, released this week, now returning kicks for the Raiders, pops it up, ball out. Let's see if the Seahawks have recovered this one. Bodies being dragged all over the place. If you're the Raiders special teams coach, you got to be pulling your hair out right now.
And if you're the Seahawks special teams coach, you got to feel pretty good about the effort these guys are giving.
Raiders recover.
Even though the Seahawk comes up with the football.
Here's Francis. Look, someone got a hand on that. I believe it was Jerron Johnson, number 32 on the way by. No, it's Kyle Knox, then Jerron Johnson. Yeah. Johnson got a hand on it, popped it out. The Raiders recover.
Ron Johnson's been in on a lot of plays this preseason. He has an interception, he has a forced fumble, he has a fumble recovery, and helped on that forced fumble right there.
Mike Goodson, the former Carolina Panther, being chased, gets away from Bruce Irvin, forced out of bounds by Alan Bradford. Big run after the change of direction. Gets the first down.
And that's the only reason why Mike Goodson got away that time, was his speed, because the Seahawks were all over him right here on that left side, but he comes all the way back across the field. Bruce Irvin maybe takes a better angle. He's able to make that tackle, but Goodson able to get around that corner and make a nice gain for a first down for the Raiders.
Yeah, 17-yard run by Goodson. Leonard's still in the quarterback for open. Hands it off to Tywan Jones. Door closed. Malcolm Smith going to tackle Jones for a 1-yard loss. This run defense for the Seahawks, good tonight, good all preseason.
It really has been, and one of the reasons they're disciplined on defense. You see guys, there's nowhere for running backs to run. Everybody's staying in their running lanes. Great gap integrity by this young Seahawk group that's in the football game. And then you've got a bunch of great athletes out there that can really run, especially at those outside linebacker spots.
2nd and 11. In the dirt, incomplete, intended for Brandon Carswell.
You know, I watched Matt Leinart in warm-ups, and he throws a really nice ball in warm-ups, but then something happens when he gets in the game. He just doesn't seem to be the same player when he's throwing the football in the game. Only 2 for 8 so far in the ball game for 5 yards and the 1 interception. So he's really struggled tonight, and they want to take a long look at him to make sure he is going to be the guy, because they also have Terrell Pryor, who's their 3rd quarterback. I'm sure he'll get a lot of time in the second half.
We'll see what Leinart can do on 3rd down. Throws that one over the middle, incomplete. Eric Gordon, the tight end, the intended receiver, but there again is Mike Morgan.
Mike Morgan making another play, but this ball thrown behind the receiver. There's no way he's going to make that catch. His body language is going one direction, and the ball's thrown another direction. Either there's miscommunication right there, or Matt Leinart is just not being accurate.
So Shane Leckler comes on again to punt to Golden Tate. Another big kick. Tate takes it. Turns the other direction. Well, that was a thrilling return by Golden Tate. Dancing all over the place. The music eventually stopped at about the 22-yard line. 16 yards on the return by Tate. Seahawks take it over midway through this 2nd quarter.
Defense has been great tonight, whether it was the first team or the second team. Out of the Oakland Raiders' 5 drives, they've had 4 punts and 1 interception, so they haven't done very much offensively because of that stymied Seahawk defense.
Matt Flynn from the 22 hands it off. Tawa fights his way for a 9-yard run, and you begin to see a little bit of what Tawa can help bring to this team, fullback and halfback.
Yeah, by Tawa, that's one of the things they like about him. He's so versatile, and he plays special teams. He can play fullback and block, as we've seen earlier in the ball game, and catch passes out of the backfield, but he can also line up at the tailback, something he did in college, for all the years he was there at Nevada. Yes, he ran in the pistol offense at Nevada.
2nd and 1. Tawa again. 1st down. 5 yards on the run. 6 yards. And we talk so much about this being a last opportunity for some of these guys to impress the coaching staff. This is one way to do it, by showing your versatility in a football game.
Right. The more you can do, the more your chances of staying around. And not only are you auditioning for these coaches on this staff, but also for the other 31 teams in this league. Everybody's watching everybody's tape. All these guys have been scouted by other teams around the league, so they're keeping an eye on these guys to see how well they play in games, because they could end up on somebody else's roster come Monday, Tuesday.
Here's Flynn on the screenplay. Tawa running after the catch. Looks like he's going to be just short of that 1st down marker again.
Nice job by the Seahawks setting up the screen that time to Tawa, and he had 3 blockers out in front, and he did a nice job of getting up the numbers. That's something they want you to do on the screen pass. As you catch the football, look for the numbers and try and run up those numbers, because that's where the offensive linemen, those 3 guys that have linked out, are going to try and get to throw their blocks.
So another 9-yard pickup, this time on the reception by Tawa. He's deep in the eye. They give it to him again. He picks up the 1st down again. He deserves a little break right now.
I'm sure he's a little bit gassed. He hasn't run the football like this all preseason long, and you're not used to doing that, especially when you don't get a lot of practice snaps as a 2nd or 3rd teamer. You get a little winded in the ball game. I'm sure he's excited as well.
Just shy of midfield, 1st down for the Seahawks. Craig Lumpkin around the corner with room. Lumpkin, 13 yards on the run. The Seahawks keep moving the chains.
Nice job over on the left side. Franco Mayel and also Alan Babry, doing a good job over there opening that hole for Lumpkin, and he does the rest as he turns up the field. Has great field vision and runs tough as he runs over the defensive back for the Raiders, who makes the tackle.
Best looking offensive drive of the night for the Seahawks so far. Mostly second teamers against second teamers. Lumpkin. He got hit big. Shupar, their 7th round pick. Out of Penn State, making the tackle.
Seahawks really taking a long look at their running game on this drive. Matt Flynn's only thrown a couple of footballs on this drive, but they have really just been running it down the Raiders' throat here to start this drive off. Taking a look at some good young backs. Looking at these offensive linemen.
Tower back in there. Out across the 30-yard line. And it's interesting when you see a big man his size kind of scoot and turn sideways. Really just a weird angle to get through that offensive line.
And he is a big man, too. You know, he's a good-sized guy, 5'10", about 215 pounds, built low to the ground. Again, they're running a lot over that left side behind Alan Barber and also Franco Mayo. Doing a nice job over there coming off the football.
Brings up a 3rd down. Power alone in the backfield. Charlie Martin in motion. Shift to the backfield. Off the fake. Martin out of the backfield. Reaches across. Got the first down.
Charlie Martin is another one of those guys. All he's done is catch every football thrown to him. He had a touchdown pass last week against Kansas City. Here he kind of shifts back into the backfield like he's going to block on a running play, leaks out into that right flat, and has enough second effort to get the first down there for the Seahawks to keep this drive going.
Born in Walla Walla, Washington, raised in New Mexico. First down at the 26. Movement early. Question always, is he drawn offside?
Like Dominic Hamilton kind of jumped a little early, had a little contact, and he's going to get pulled out of the game right now. It's kind of embarrassing.
Encroachment on the defense, number 64. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
So the Seahawks get a free 5.
I don't know if that was Matt Flynn using his voice inflection on the cadence or Hamilton just being a little jumpy in there, but it's 5 yards for the Seahawks. 1st and 5, good situation to be in.
Penalty of the night against the Raiders. Here's Flynn. Tower again. He's going to be right near that first down marker. Look from here like he got enough yardage before the tackle was made.
Yeah, he got to the 15, just needed to get to the 16. As we go down to the 2-minute warning.
I don't know if we should talk about the Seahawks or the Towers, because Vitawa has been the man on this drive. Will he lead him to a score? We'll see. 2 minutes left in the first half.
Gear up for the season. Visit the Seahawks Pro Shop at CenturyLink Field, downtown at 4th and Pine, or shop online at Seahawks.com. Back here at CenturyLink Field in Seattle, Washington. Aaron Levine alongside Dave Wyman. And Dave, more of the same, what we've seen all preseason long, a dominating defense.
Yeah, it's been exciting to watch, and linebackers really came up big. I thought watching Alan Bradford, the converted running back, Mike Morgan making a lot of plays out there.
We'll have a lot more on the halftime show coming up, but for now, let's go back up to the booth. Kurt Menefee and Warren Moon, guys.
All right, thanks a lot. 2-minute warning. Seahawks with the ball at the 15-yard line. And we talked about it. This drive dominated by Vitawa so far. 7 plays run by Seattle. He's touched the ball 5 times and gotten them down to this 15.
And they've had this ball for about 5 minutes and 51 seconds on this drive, just methodically moving it down the field with the running game.
Best looking drive of the night for Seattle. Tower again on the draw play. Big hole inside the 5, pushing his way down to about the 2-yard line. Frank Omayel may have made up for that penalty with a good block on that play. 13 yards on the run.
And that offensive line is really coming off the football. You see Raiders going backwards. No penetration by that Raiders defense. Everybody's on their heels going backwards. Nice little delayed draw. Tower just finds a big crease inside, and he does the rest with just strong running. And you see the rest of the Seahawks offensive linemen try and push him into the end zone, something that they're taught to be nasty and get people off that pile.
6 touches, 40 yards here on this drive. Tower completes it. He deserved it. Touchdown, Seahawks.
I think Vitale deserves a cup of water when he gets over there to that bench. He was a workman on that drive, no question about it.
9-play drive. He touched it 7 times and then pinning the extra point, 7 more.
You saw Alan Barber kind of pull around and kick out on that play. And Tower just runs right up inside that block, gets into the end zone for the touchdown.
Busy night for him, but maybe a life-changing night for him. Getting an opportunity to try and make this squad is Stephen Hauschka. As the point after, first touchdown of the game, 13-0. Seahawks lead it. And Tower, one of those guys fighting for playing time as a backup. And we mentioned he can play fullback, he can play running back. He's showing what he can do on special teams, and now showing what he can do all over the place on this drive.
Very versatile young man, a very physical, tough runner. You know, he had the 1 drop pass. That was about the only negative he's done tonight. But other than that, he's done everything he's been asked. He's run tough. He's run hard. He's caught the football at times.
Blocked well.
And blocked well. So he's had a good night. Good first half, at least in this football game.
Trying to prove to the coaches he certainly deserves to be one of the guys you get a chance to see if you get Seahawks season ticket. Representatives are standing by right now. 1-888 NFL Hawk is the number, and a great home schedule for the Seahawks this year.
Outstanding home schedule, and even tonight, great crowd here for the 4th preseason game. You know, a lot of people are aware that a lot of the starters aren't going to play very much, but you would never know it here tonight. A great crowd here again at CenturyLink Field as these Seahawks 12th man fans want to see as much of the Seahawks as they can get.
Seahawks trying to go to 4-0 on the preseason. Last time was 2009. 4-0 season, that 1 year under Jim Moore. Of course, that did not translate into regular season success. But hoping that it does this time around, should they wind up going perfect. Brian McCann back deep. It's just across the 20, and that's about it. Well, we talked about the home schedule during the regular season. Of course, you're always going to see the 3 teams in the division. And then outside the division, some impressive teams: Dallas, Green Bay, and New England, the first 3 to come in.
Man, talk about quarterbacks you're going to come see. You know, Tony Romo, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady. That's a pretty good lineup right there. And then you've got, of course, our division foes in Arizona and San Francisco and St. Louis. A little Tim Tebow action to go along with Mark Sanchez. That should be a real good controversy by then, right?
Yeah, by then, who knows who's starting? Probably Greg McElroy. He'll be the one guy that beats them both. Here's Leonard being chased by Irvin. Low pass, and that's caught by Traviante Session. Bruce Irvin just missed getting to Leonard.
Bruce Irvin has really been coming on the last couple of weeks. He's almost there. You know, he's putting good pressure on the quarterbacks. He jumps over the tackle right there. He's just a little bit late, but that's what I saw last week against Kansas City, too, getting a lot of hurries on the quarterback. It's just a matter of time before this guy starts being just what you want him to be, that great pass rusher that they drafted him to be.
And one of the things that he has been trying to prove, and the Seahawks have been trying to prove this preseason as well, is that he's an every down player. You know, he's not going to be just a 3rd down guy to pass rush, and he gets a lot of time backing up Clemens there at that end spot.
And there's a lot of defensive packages that they have him in that they haven't even shown this preseason. So once the regular season starts, they have a lot of different ways they want to use this young man because of his versatility.
Mike Goodson, upended. Boy, Goodson
Jerron Johnson again.
Before Jerron Johnson came in and made yet another play.
Man, all he does is make plays, whether it's stripping and forcing a fumble, getting an interception, and right here filling this hole from his safety spot. Nice tackle in that hole, one-on-one.
And the Seahawks call a timeout with 28 seconds left here in the first half.
But when you got Golden Tate back there, who went 93 yards last week with a punt return, you saw what he did on that exciting 16-yard return just a little while ago. You want to give him another opportunity to see if he can return one and give the Seahawks some good field position.
Still 2 timeouts left for Seattle after this one. Pardon me, 1, because they lost 1 on the challenge.
Right. There you see Jerron Johnson, who has had an outstanding preseason, comes out of Boise State. You know, they just have a lot of good football players that come out of Boise State. Well coached up there by Chris Peterson and that staff.
You also see what happens when you're playing at this time of the game trying to make the team. You make a big play, you go out, you celebrate. They're like, get back on the field. You're on special teams.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
4th punt of the night for Leckler. Tate can't escape. Brought down at the 20-yard line by Pat Lee. So 20 seconds left to go, 80 yards away from the end zone. We'll see if the Seahawks take a shot or resign to go into the locker room up 13-0 here at halftime with the defense pitching a shutout in the first half.
I think they'll keep it aggressive and try and run the football here. They won't take a knee, I don't think. They'll run the ball. They've been running it so well this half. Why not keep running it? Run the clock on out. I don't think they'll throw it here.
So here's Flynn under center. Why not Vitala? Falls forward. 6-yard pickup, and that'll be the last play of the first half. Well, the starters for each side didn't play much as expected here this preseason, but the backups for Seattle looking really good. The defense pitches a shutout in the first half, and the offense scores a touchdown. 13-0. Seahawks with a lead over the Raiders. The halftime show when we continue from CenturyLink Field.
And it's the Steel halftime show. The Seahawks on top of the Oakland Raiders 13-0. Let's take a look at the first half stats. Dave Wyman along with, well, I'm Aaron Levine. You're Dave Wyman. Let's get that right. I'm going to show the halftime stats. And a very one-sided affair as you go all the way down the list. Seahawks winning in total yards, winning the turnover battle, first downs, and time of possession.
Boy, look at that, 49 yards. The defense has had stretches of just incredible play during the preseason. And really what I like, Aaron, we talked about this in the pregame show, the turnover ratio thing is huge. That's going to put them at +7 for the preseason. And as I mentioned, that is a statistic that you can pretty much bank on. If you're in that positive category, you're going to have a winning record by the end of the year, and usually the top 10 teams are in the playoffs.
The team cuts the roster down to 53 players tomorrow, and you already see some of those players making those final push for that roster spot.
Yeah, 2 guys I'm looking at out here, Vitao and Craig Lumpkin, both lining up in the backfield and having big nights. They're blocking for each other, getting lots of carries and working hard. So those guys are battling for a spot right now.
They got one more half left. The Seahawks on top, 13-0. Go back upstairs in the booth. Kurt Menefee and Warren Moon, guys.
All right, guys. You know, Warren, as we get ready to start the second half, we can talk about position battles. Not just about guys making the team, but also about the depth of your squad. You'll learn a lot about that for the Seahawks in the second half.
No question about it. It doesn't matter who they put on the field. They all play the same way, especially defensively. They really are aggressive. They get after the football. They try and create turnovers, and they score off those turnovers. So it's been a good half for the Seahawks so far. It should be an interesting second half as these guys try and make this football team.
And the Seahawks will get the ball to start the second half. Good first half by the offense, particularly the way they finished up that first half with the long drive and the Vitao touchdown. And the defense is, you know, Aaron and Dave pointed out, just dominant. 49 total yards allowed to the Raiders. Only 3 first downs and no points.
Only 13 yards passing, and they just haven't been able to move the football consistently against this Seahawks defense, regardless of who's out there on the field. That's a good sign. You've got a lot of good players on your football team. And they're all playing and being coached well under your system.
Eddie Carmona on to kick things off. And back deep, Phillip Adams for the Seahawks. As we start the second and final half of the preseason. Adams brings it out. Probably shouldn't have. Got to about the 17-yard line. Matt Flynn coming back out at quarterback.
Trying to make the team. So I'm going to take this thing out here. Maybe I can return it. 106 yards for a touchdown. Probably not the best decision.
You see Matt Flynn's numbers for the first half. Pretty good numbers. Pretty much what he did, though, as a starter. You saw 6 of 7. Very efficient. No big bombs, but he did lead into a touchdown drive, which is something he had not done in a Seahawks uniform until that last drive.
Well, one of the things he does, he plays quarterback. He does what you're supposed to do to move the chains. He's not going to wow you with his arm strength or his athleticism or anything, but he's just very meticulous. He runs the offense the way it's supposed to be run, and they end up getting in the end zone.
Hands it off to Craig Lumpkin. Lumpkin picks up just a couple of yards on the play. A little pushing and shoving afterwards. Talked about Flynn using this opportunity to show the coaching staff that he's not going to hang his head and he can still be a guy that you can count on.
Well, I thought he did a good job in the time that he's played. He hasn't thrown the football a ton. He's handed it off a lot to Vitua and also Craig Lumpkin and the rest of the guys. But whenever he's needed to throw the football, he's done a nice job throwing it.
Out of the shotgun. Lumpkin again. Stutter steps. Spins his way out to the 27-yard line. To be close to that first down marker. Looks like he got enough. First down, Seattle.
Good second effort by Craig Lumpkin that time. Spinning and twisting and getting just enough yardage to get over the sticks. Nice job by Craig. 5 years in the league, as you see, out of the University of Georgia. Georgia Bulldog.
2 years with the Green Bay Packers. 2 years with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now trying to make it as a Seahawk. First down, Seattle. Lumpkin again. Nowhere to run. Wound up getting about 2 yards on the run, but that one pretty much shut down by the Raiders early. Curtis Taylor on the tackle.
Seahawks really running the football a ton.
Yeah.
That second quarter and now starting this third quarter.
You think they want to get out of here?
Either that or they're trying to take a good look at these running backs to see who they want to keep. There must be a big decision to be made there, too. Because these guys, I don't know if they're eligible for the practice squad. Maybe Tua is. Only a second-year guy.
We'll go with that. Here's Lumpkin. Bottled up. Turned around and wrapped up. Christo Bulukidi. 6th-round draft pick for the Raiders. Born in Angola, lived in France, Brazil, Canada. Mr. International.
Out of Georgia State.
You don't see many football players out of Georgia State. They just restarted their program a couple of years ago. Bill Curry, the old
Alabama
offensive lineman and Alabama coach. Now in his final season, they're going to retire at the age of 70 after this year. Here's Flynn. All kinds of time. And pump faked himself into an incompletion, basically. Ricardo Lockett, the intended receiver.
Yeah, good man-for-man coverage that time by the Raiders. Nowhere for Matt Flynn to throw the football. He had really nice protection. Tried to wait for somebody to come open. Lockett kind of runs the out route on the outside, but he's being covered. He looked across the middle. There was nobody there, so he came back outside late. That's something you never want to do, is throw an out route late, but that's what Matt Flynn ended up doing.
John Ryan to boot it. Brian McCann signals for the fair catch. And so the Raiders will take over for the first time in the second half. 12:03 left to go here. Terrell Pryor coming out at quarterback for Oakland. I'm by a guy who had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Leon Washington.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're officially an old man now. You turned 30.
Yeah, the big 3-0. Don't remind me. My wife already does.
Well, first of all, we appreciate you taking the time to join us tonight. And I know you didn't get any run this evening in the football game. Well, just talk about the progress that you feel that the squad has made from the beginning of training camp to now as we get ready to go into the regular season.
Well, it all started in the last 8 games of the season last year. You know, after halftime, after the halfway point last last year, we really turned it on. I think we went 5-3 to finish the season, and we kind of picked up when we left off at. You know, Coach talked about our identity, what we want to be. We want to be a physical football team that plays great defense and plays great special teams. And I think so far in the first 3 to 4 preseason games, we really have shown what we're about.
Yeah, Leon, I want to go even further back because you've been here since Pete came in. And how have you seen this team change as far as the athleticism, how big and powerful it is, and how aggressive they are to the football, especially on the defensive side since you've been here the last few years?
Well, you know, Pete Carroll's a defensive coach, and that's where it starts. It starts on defense. You got guys like Big Red, Me Bang. You know, you got young guys like Wagner. Then that secondary is unbelievable. Guys do a tremendous job of covering guys and making plays. And like Coach talked about, we want to be all about the football, force turnovers and take care of the football. If we do that, we'll have a great chance of winning football games.
You know, one other big philosophy that Pete Carroll has is competition. Tell us a little bit about how that really affects everybody. Practice in, practice out, game in, game out.
Every day when you come to practice, every single day you have to compete. And it starts with competition Wednesdays, no turnover Thursdays, and no repeat Fridays. And every day we come to work, Coach fills the building with energy, and guys really come out and compete against each other. And it makes each other better. Because we feel like when we go on the practice field, and how hard we work and how hard we go against each other, the game seems kind of easy. And that's what a bunch of rookies have been saying thus far.
And you can see the difference definitely on the field. We appreciate it, Leon. Good luck to you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, stay happy. Enjoy your birthday. Leon Washington taking a little time out. Turned 30 yesterday.
He's definitely an old man on this football team. And this is one of the youngest teams in the league.
That punt close to being blocked. Shane Leckler just got it off. Dancing around with no room to run, and now pitching back. Well, I don't know if that's going to help Golden Tate right there, but hey, it made it interesting, right? Matt Flynn coming back out again. This return by Golden Tate looks like he twisted his right knee a little bit. They've been working on the sideline on him. Here's another look at it. Watch his right knee. Yeah, you got to love his effort on this play, but sometimes you just take what you can get and try and get down. That way you don't subject yourself to this type of punishment. As you see that knee get buckled right there, that's not a good sign. You don't want to see one of your guys take that type of hit, especially as the season's getting ready to start next week. You want to try and come out of this thing as injury-free as possible. Now, he walked off the field with some help, and they were working on him on the sideline. Looks like they're leaving him alone for a little bit. Maybe that's a good sign. As Matt Flynn threw that one to a wide-open receiver who was level, flags everywhere. Sean McGrath, the intended receiver, he didn't have a chance. Mike Mitchell leveled him long before the football got there. Well, that's one of those plays hitting a defenseless player, and you just can't do that in this league anymore, especially with Roger Goodell as the commissioner. We're trying to eliminate these types of hits on guys to take away. He could have played the football right there and maybe get an interception, but he elects to take the big hit on the defenseless receiver.
Number 34, be a spot foul, automatic first down.
And McGrath still down, now getting up. Yeah, no question about that one. Good to see McGrath running off the field. Winds up being a 27-yard penalty, and you know, McGrath is one of those guys. You talk about the scouting department out of Henderson State in Arkadelphia, Arkansas.
Arkadelphia, huh?
Yeah. They thought he would be a good blocking tight end, brought him in as a undrafted free agent, and he wound up showing he's got pass catching ability, and now is really kind of forcing some decisions to be made at that tight end spot. After the penalty from the 37, Tawa back to the line of scrimmage.
That's something the league is really going to look at hard every time out. They're going to always err on the side of safety when they throw those flags, and that was an obvious one there by Mike Mitchell on that hit on McGrath. And like you said, fortunately he got up and jogged off the field, but I'm sure his bell got rung a little bit on that play. Well, he's going to have an opportunity, he hopes, to get back in this game because he's one of those guys battling not to be released tomorrow. The rosters have to be cut by 6 p.m. Pacific time. Flynn on the run, wide open, Chris Durham. Young wide receiver takes it into into Raider territory. Another one of those wide receivers the Seahawks have to make a decision on. Chris Durham, a guy that's about 6'6", has great size, 216 pounds, and great speed. Catches this football, gets both feet down in bounds before he gets out of bounds, and that's good velocity on the football by Matt Flynn as he throws that ball on the run.
Durham's first catch of the preseason, 25 yards on the play. Lumpkin back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Durham missed almost all his last year with that shoulder injury, and he was really slow to come back this preseason, but you see he had that big catch right there, and he's one of those guys they would like to keep and develop, but you can only keep so many around, especially if you have to expose them, say, to the practice squad or whatever, because other people have seen these guys play now, and they know what they're capable of doing, and it's going to be hard to keep them around here in Seattle.
4th round pick out of Georgia last year. Lumpkin with a hole out across the 30. Well, this offensive line, this second or third unit, or the mixture, the backups basically, has played really well starting that second quarter, and once again looking good on the drive with run blocking.
Well, that's what Tom Cable brings to the table. He's such a great offensive line coach, and it doesn't matter if you're a starter or you're a third teamer. He expects the same thing out of you. He expects the same toughness, the same physicalness, and just his same type of mentality. He wants those guys to come off the football. If they need to cut on a play, he wants you to cut those guys' knees. Whatever it takes, that zone blocking scheme, he wants you to be very nasty and physical at the point of attack.
And running backs to find the hole with one cut, which is exactly what Craig Lumpkin did on that one. Back down to the sideline, joining us right now, Seahawks safety Cam Chancellor. Cam, first of all, how are you doing? We know you didn't suit up tonight.
Yeah, man, I'm doing good.
You're okay physically?
Yeah, I'm getting better. I'll be good for week 1.
Cam, you've only been in the league 2 years. You're not supposed to be pulling these veteran moves already.
No, it's not a veteran move, man.
So how do you feel this defense is going into the season? You guys think you're where you want to be? I know you guys have had a tremendous preseason. You've created a lot of turnovers, things like that, something you really wanted to do coming into the season. How you think you're faring up as the season gets ready to start next week in Arizona?
I think we're not where we want to be, but I think we're very close. It comes with us going back to practice and cleaning up the mistakes we're making in preseason. It's not many big mistakes, but it's the little things that'll hurt you. So we'll go back and watch film and get better.
Okay, so give us some insight. What do you see that you need to work on? I mean, you're creating turnovers. You look good in the run game. Maybe a big pass play here or there. What are you looking at?
Yeah, just clean up a little bit of tackles. We had a lot of tackle for loss this preseason that we kind of gave up with our missed tackles. And, communication. We just got to get communication across the board because sometimes the corners don't get the calls when it's coming in late, so we just got to communicate better.
Now, your starters are pretty much set back there, but as you look at these young guys, a lot of good young players back there vying to make this football team. How do you think about what do you think about the depth of this secondary?
I think it's fabulous, man. The guys, they see the first guys out there working hard every day at practice. No matter if we know we already are starting or no matter we made the Pro Bowls or whatever, we always come and work hard every day. And the guys behind us, they see it and they just catch on to it. And, they all come out and work hard every day. So, it shows in the game.
Well, once again, we appreciate you joining us. Get better and get ready for the week 1
Thanks for having me.
Game in Arizona.
All right, thank you.
All right, Cam. Ricardo Lacquette's first catch gets the Seahawks down to the 10-yard line. Knocking on the door. Here's the pass complete out once again. Lacquette from Matt Flynn. Here's a guy that really has missed a lot of time during this preseason with injuries and just trying to make his presence felt in this wide receiver battle, which is a big one.
He runs a slant pattern, and this is another one of those young receivers they want to try and develop and they want to try and keep around here. Ricardo Lacquette, he has tremendous speed, good size, about 6'2", about 215 pounds, and he's only made a couple of catches since he's been a Seahawk, but they've been big catches, a couple of catches last year, so he's a guy they want to keep developing if they can keep him around here.
Had that big 60-yarder against Arizona in the season finale, and this time Cooper Helfet, another backup tight end with his second touchdown of the preseason.
They've been throwing that flat slant combination with Lockett over there, throwing the slant to him. This time they throw it to Holford, and he catches the football and just gets over that end zone for the touchdown. This is, like you said, his second touchdown reception of the preseason. Some great effort getting that ball to the pylon.
To show you how much the Seahawks have spread it around this preseason, he's the only player with more than one touchdown. 12 touchdowns, or 13 touchdowns, excuse me, scored by the Seahawks right now, scored by 12 different players. Helfet's the only one with more than one. Well,
it's about the only thing they've done wrong tonight.
Exactly. And he's a guy you can usually count on. Helfet. Count on him on this play, completing a 9-play, 90-yard scoring drive. It's 19-0. Plenty of reason to smile for Cooper Helfet. Second touchdown in the preseason. That one extended the lead 19-0 after the deflected point after attempt. Nice drive, 90 yards, 5.5 minutes.
Again, Matt Flynn showing just what he does. He just moves the chains. He makes enough big pass plays on the drive to get the football down the field, but just methodically moves it down there. And like I said, it's nothing that really just wows you. But the next thing you know, your team's in the end zone. And that's what you want out of your quarterback. He just plays the position of quarterback.
Steven Hauschka kicking it off. Brian McCann hasn't decided what he's going to do yet, at least officially, as he takes a knee in the end zone. 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Seahawks trying to go to 4-0 and looking good. Game of the preseason. Don't forget, once the regular season begins, if you want to be a part of it here at CenturyLink, just dial 1-888-NFL-HAWK for season ticket information. Operators are standing by. 4.5 minutes left to go in this game, and on that last drive, the Seahawks 90 yards. That's twice as many as the Raiders have had this entire game. They've had 46 yards of offense. Starting this drive at their own 20. Terrell Pryor being pressured and sacked. Bruce Irvin, the first guy to get there.
I told you it's just a matter of time before this guy's going to start getting to the quarterback, and once it starts happening, it's going to happen in bunches. You see him take the inside charge, and he gets to the quarterback in a hurry. Terrell Pryor is a big guy to bring down, about 6'6", 230 pounds, but three Seahawks get there almost at the same time, and he has to go down on that play.
Second sack of the night for the Seahawks, and definitely happy on that Seattle sideline to see Bruce Irvin get one. Pryor, pressure, runs it. Wrapped up, Alan Bradford stops it.
Terrell Pryor's looking at the rush now. After that first play where he got sacked, that time he didn't even give the route a chance to develop. He just tried to take off. He's their leading rusher in the preseason so far. He's a tremendous runner, but you've got to at least give the path a chance. You don't want to be, I don't care how big you are, you don't want to be as a quarterback running up in there because it's nothing good up inside there.
Third and long. Pryor from the shotgun, needing the 30-yard line. Irvin again. Pryor gets away. Throws it downfield, has a man complete out to the 40-yard line. Good job of recovering from the near sack. Eddie McGee makes the catch, and Pryor with a big third down conversion.
Again, he's a big man, and once you get there, you've got to really wrap up. Bruce Irvin does a nice job of going around the tackle right there, but he's got to finish off the play. As Terrell Pryor is a very difficult guy to bring down to the ground, and he finds an open receiver down the field.
Pickup of 25 yards out to the 41. Mike Goodson tries to cut it back. Kadaro Law on the stop. Corey Toomer in there as well. Only 4 first downs all night for the Raiders. That's the first one through the air.
One of the things Bruce Irvin had to figure out when he got to this league is you just cannot do it all with speed. And he's figured that out over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Learned how to use his hands to get these big, deep offensive tackles hands off of him because they block like this in college football. They're a little bit better at this level. He's figuring that out.
And he comes in an inside rush, knocks the ball out of Pryor's hand. Bruce Irvin made the play, and they're calling it an incomplete pass.
He's also developed some other pass rushing moves since he's been here, and he's learning how to use his hands to get guys' hands off of him. Also to slap and go by guys. A lot of different things he wasn't taught at West Virginia University. He's learned here. And this might be a little questionable. That arm was going forward, but did the ball come out before his arm started going forward?
Raiders up at the line of scrimmage. Play stopped.
Delay a game on the offense. Number 6, 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
Well, other than that one big pass from Pryor, nothing's gone right on this drive for the Raiders either.
It really hasn't. They're fortunate to still have the football after that last play. The ball was knocked out of Pryor's hand, but they called it an incomplete pass. This defense is really playing some revved up football right now. This crowd is still into this football game.
They certainly are. Another third down. Pressure again. Being chased is Pryor. Chased by Irvin, outruns it.
And that's what he can do, and we've seen him do that for a few years at Ohio State. He's a big guy that has tremendous speed. He's a great athlete. Trying to make the transition to a pro quarterback. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but he has definite potential, no question about it.
Ran for 7 yards, but not nearly enough for the first down, and you'll see his scrambling ability here and his speed.
Well, if it wasn't for his scrambling ability, he'd have been sacked. Most quarterbacks in this league, about 90% of them would have been down on their back by now, or been run down by Bruce Irvin right there, but he has just great speed.
Phillip Adams, the deep man. Going to watch that one roll through the end zone for a touchback. 1.5 minutes left to play here in this third quarter. Seahawks in control, looking good on offense and defense tonight. The defense pitching a shutout so far. Josh Portis coming in now at quarterback for the Seahawks. Of course, was impressive during preseason last year out of California, University of Pennsylvania. Bounced around to a lot of schools before settling there. Came in as a free agent last year and impressed enough to make the Seahawks practice squad.
Well, he's another guy they'd love to develop, and I think he's going to get a chance to do that the way the quarterback position has shook out this year, with Russell Wilson starting, Matt Flynn being the backup right now, and Josh Porter's probably going to be that third guy again. He gets a chance to be developed a little bit more this season.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned this week Tavares Jackson traded to the Buffalo Bills, in case you hadn't heard. Lumpkin looking for running room. He'll fight his way out for a pickup of 7 yards. You know, in this training camp, this all began as a 3-man quarterback competition. In the end, it was pretty clear that the rookie Russell Wilson was going to be the guy.
He has really played well, and I'm really happy for him because he's really worked his tail off. And not to take anything away from Matt Flynn, who also worked and had a pretty decent preseason. The numbers just show that this guy outplayed everybody and deserves to be the starter to start the season.
And it's not just what he does on the field. You talk to the coaching staff, you talk to the players. It's so much about his leadership and just how impressive he is, particularly for a rookie as Lumpkin gets out near that first down marker. But I think that's what impresses people the most, is just the way he carries himself, his study habits, and the way he makes everybody else on the football team, particularly the offense, better.
And that's, you know, there's so many different ways to lead football teams, and Russell is a rookie. He's not going to come in here rah-rah or telling guys what to do, but the way he goes about his business is the way he leads, and the guys on this team see that. They see the way he comes to work every day. They see how late he stays. They see all the attention to detail he puts into his job, and then they see how he performs in games, and that gets the attention not only of the young players of this team, but also the veterans to say, hey, this guy is something special, and I can follow him. I can follow him wherever he wants to take me.
End of the third quarter. 1 quarter left in the preseason before Wilson and the Seahawks turn it to the regular season. Ready for the final quarter of the preseason. Seahawks up 19-0 over the Raiders. Kurt Menefee and Warren Moon with you from CenturyLink Field as the Seahawks try to run their record to 4-0 on the preseason. Josh Portis will take them through the rest of the way.
You know, you talked about the team was 4-0 back when Jim Mora Jr. was the head coach, and it really didn't, turn into anything during the regular season because I think the team only won 4 games during the regular season, or 5. And there's a different feel about this football team going into the year, though. I think they're going to win this football game tonight and be undefeated, but I think there's a different feeling about how good this team can be going into the season.
Portis off the play fake. Thought about going deep, can't find anybody, so he runs it. And Portis with a good run, going to pick up the first down. Showing his versatility as well.
Picked up a good block over there by Jermaine Kearse, and he probably could have threw this football to Jermaine Kearse, but he ended up throwing it. He wanted to throw it deep down the field, but he shows his athleticism as he gets around that corner, picks up the block right there by Kearse, gets the first down, and gets out of bounds without taking a big hit. So smart play that time by Josh Portis, keeping that football and getting the first down.
And gaining 11 yards on it. Just shy of the 41-yard line. Jermaine Kearse, the wide receiver in the backfield. And they hand it off to him. The former Husky scooting his way out, playing a little tailback right now, gained 7 yards.
I saw him on the sideline warming up with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was giving him handoffs on the sideline as if to say, you're going to go in there and play running back. I don't know if this is something that's planned tonight, or if they run out of running backs, or they don't want to play anybody else at that position, but maybe they're just looking at Jermaine Kearse as a running back. I'm not sure.
Now keep in mind, Leon Washington didn't suit up tonight, nor did Marshawn Lynch, so it also could be just a matter of numbers. They want to give the other guys who did play a blow right now. Hey, whatever it is, Kearse can always say he ran the football from the running back position in an NFL game.
And I got 6 yards on my only carry.
There's a Raider down on the field right now, which is the reason for the stoppage. Bilokidi.
Looks like he's got some cramps in that calf. He's probably played more tonight than he's played all preseason, and that tends to happen to those big guys. They get a little bit dehydrated on a nice warm night here in Seattle.
You were talking earlier just about how different this feels than the 2009 preseason. We'll take another look at Bilokidi. I think he lost well, he didn't lose it, but he blew his shoe out along the way. But you talked about just the difference in the feel, this being the 3rd year under Pete Carroll versus that being the 1st year under Jim Mora. And I think a lot of that really has to do with the kind of athletes they brought in here, who are not just talented on the field, but there's some different guys in the locker room. As Portis takes this one on the bootleg and picks up another first down before getting out of bounds. But going back to the story, it's just like so many quality individuals. Russell Wilson gets all the attention, but there are a lot of young guys right now that you go in the locker room, those are good men.
A lot of good leaders on this football team, and a lot of young guys that have become leaders. You look at, Earl Thomas, a guy in the secondary. He's just an infectious guy. If you watch him in practice, the way he practices, all the rest of the guys kind of feed off of his energy, and just so many different leaders. Red Bryant has become a leader on this team, and he's only in his 4th year. So it doesn't matter how many years you've been in the league. There's a lot of different ways to lead, and they've got a lot of young, good leaders on this team.
First down in Raider territory. Brett Rumpkin back in the game. Picks up a couple of yards on the play. And I think part of that goes back to what we were talking about earlier with some of the players and just the spirit of competition. I mean, they brought in guys who can handle competition because, as you all know, some guys can't.
No, they can't. They want that job. They want to know what their place is on the football team. And if they don't know what that job is, or they don't know where their place is, they get a little bit nervous and they don't perform as well. But on this football team, you're asked to perform each and every day at practice. And there is an environment out there that I've never really seen in pro football before. And it works, though. It's working right now.
Portis passing it. And that's caught by Halfett, who already has a touchdown in the game, and he fights up for another first down for the Seahawks inside the 30-yard line. He's one of those guys competing for a spot at tight end right now.
And that was a nice catch by Helfet, as that ball had some RPMs on it and it was nice and low, but he caught about half of the football, was able to hang on to it, and then get physical after the catch and make the first down.
10-yard gain. Down to the 28-yard line. Portis out of the shotgun. Pulls it down, running. Going the wrong way now. Winds up being forced out of bounds eventually after the scramble.
We talk about that tight end position on this team. A lot of good tight ends on this team. You look at the top two guys, Zach Miller, of course, and also Kellen Winslow Jr. there. But Anthony McCoy has shown well at times here in preseason. Had an outstanding game last week. You look at Sean McGrath, he caught a couple of balls tonight, and Helfet, I mean, he has 2 touchdown catches in the preseason. All these guys have contributed all preseason long, so it's going to be a very interesting cut at that position on this team.
Yeah, one would suspect they're going to keep 3, maybe 4 tight ends. Right now, 5 guys competing for spots. Lumpkin with the run. Actually, 2 guys we know are going to have spots. So it's 3 guys competing for 1 or 2 spots.
Right. And again, it just comes down, like you said, to that numbers game. Do they want to keep 3? Do they want to keep 4? In some ways, they could keep 4 on this team because they're such a run-heavy football team. You want to have, enough tight ends on your roster. But then again, you can have somebody who can almost play like a tight end, like an H-back, that gives you that versatility there. So there's a lot of different ways they can go, and they're going to be up for the next couple of days trying to figure out these roster moves and what's best for this roster to make this football team the maximum potential.
3rd and long. Here comes the blitz. Portis escapes for a while, but couldn't dance for much longer. Tripped himself up eventually. That'll bring up a kicking situation for the Seahawks.
Yeah, I think Josh has got to get out of this habit of wanting to scramble every time. I'm sure he saw the pressure coming in there and he had to try and get out of there. It's easier for me to say from up here in this booth, nice and safe, but when you see all those white shirts coming in at you, you want to just try and get out of the kitchen as fast as you can.
Those last couple of plays back the Seahawks up out of field goal range. John Ryan will punt this one. Best in the league last year getting the ball inside the 20. And he does it here inside the 10. In fact, Brian McCann with a fair touch. Under 10 minutes left. Seahawks up. Defense still trying to pitch a shutout. 19-0.
Been talking defense a whole lot tonight. There's a reason why. Oakland with 8 drives on the night, 7 punts and 1 interception. So they have not been able to move the football at all against this Seahawks defense tonight.
77 total yards as well. Pryor completes that one out to Eddie McGee. McGee can be stopped. Kyle Knox gets the tackle.
It's always a sad day on that after that last preseason game when those final guys have to clear out their lockers and everybody's around and you're saying those goodbyes. And that's why I learned very early in my career not to get too close to guys in training camp because they could be here today and gone tomorrow. But you create that bond, when you're playing with each other for the whole preseason.
Pryor in trouble, sacked. Another sack for the Seahawks defense, and clean this time by himself. Bruce Irvin, the first-round pick.
Just a nice play by Bruce Irvin as he comes down, he sees the fake, comes up, and this time instead of missing that tackle, he cleans up Terrell Pryor and makes that second sack of the game. A lot of people have been on this kid negatively since he's been drafted because they expected so many big things out of him so quickly, but they don't understand that when you come into this league, you learn a new position, you learn in a new league, it takes a little while, and he's just been coming along fine each and every week, getting a little bit better, and I think you're starting to see the proof.
Ball. They threw the flag before the ball was snapped.
False start on the offense. Number 60, half the distance to the goal, remains third down.
And this is where the 12th man gets even louder as they're back deep into their end zone. And you were talking about Irvin. He's got 2 sacks tonight. Seahawks have 3 sacks. But this is where those defensive linemen love it because it gives them a chance to get off the football.
No question. That's where the 12th man comes in handy. As they make all that noise. The offensive tackles can't hear the snap count. And you're just watching that football. And you just want to take off and watch Bruce Irvin right here. If they elect to throw the football, I think they're probably going to run it.
Well, they put Pryor back up under center. He's trying to bark out the signals. And you can see he had to go twice to Mike Goodson, who couldn't hear it. Goodson caught in the end zone for safety. I believe that was the rookie, Jay Howard, 4th-round pick out of Florida. All over Goodson, smothering him in the end zone.
Did he get off the football? He was through that gap, it seemed like, before the ball was even snapped. Jay Howard's another one of those young players they really like. Comes from a great program, University of Florida. He has great get-off, and you see how he got off the football right there. Beat the guard, Nix on that play and able to make the sack. Big play for him. Those are the type of plays, if you're trying to make a football team, you want to make in order to get everybody's attention.
Another score for the Seahawks defense. 21-0. Phillip Adams takes the punt after the safety. Runs it back out to the 35-yard line. This Seahawks defense gets the safety, so the defense has scored in 3 of the 4 games. You think they know how to celebrate by now. But take another look. Red Bryant, number 79, dancing. Catches a face mask of Howard and chips his tooth.
Yeah, I think if you're going to chest bump with somebody, you should at least have your helmet on at the same time.
He chipped a tooth on that one. So he'll get a hard time about that, trust me. A little dental work as well. First down from the 35-yard line. Here's Craig Lumpkin. Lumpkin threw a hole. Right near that first down marker. Let's head down the sideline. We're starting center for the Seahawks. Max Unger.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How are you?
They're doing good.
All right. Well, you know, you've gotten to be one of those old guys now. All you do is you get a little bit of playing time, then you get to watch the rest of the preseason. But this thing has turned around pretty quickly in your tenure here with the Seahawks, hasn't it?
Yeah, man. We got some nice stuff going on. We had a good preseason. These couple games we got to play. I mean, we didn't get out there too much this game, but it's a little carryover from last year, and we're doing good.
Max, explain how the carryover has been and how the development of that offensive line has been compared to last year at this time to this year at this time.
Last year it was a new system. We had a lot of stuff going in, a lot of new guys that were coming in. We had 2 rookies starting, and kind of throughout the year, I mean, we lost a couple guys, and we had a lot of guys that weren't starting at the beginning of the year come in, and they did a great job, and we're just kind of picking up from last year.
Obviously, you've worked with quarterbacks in the past. You work with all the quarterbacks this year as well. Tell us a little bit about Russell Wilson and what you see out of him.
He's doing a heck of a job. I mean, he's done more than what the coaches have asked, and it's real rare to have a quarterback come in and have that much command of the offense. Really with not that many practices, so it's pretty impressive so far.
Max, as you look at this offensive line, a lot of depth on this offensive line. You got to feel good about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what I said earlier, we had a lot of guys go down last year. Carp and Moffitt both went down, and we had a couple guys step up, and they did a really good job. And it's kind of just built depth for us, in this, the OTAs and the preseason this year. And it's shown up pretty much.
Hey, did you see what happened to Red Bryant there?
I was standing here, and then he went to his mouth, and I was like, oh no, did he just catch a helmet to the tooth? So he's still, I think he's like spitting up some blood over there or something.
That's what happens to those defensive guys trying to celebrate, right?
I guess so.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. You stay healthy.
Right on, guys. Thank you very much.
All right, Max Unger, starting center for the Seahawks. And, yeah, I think everybody saw that. And once again, Red Bryant will definitely get a hard time from his teammates. Here's Craig Lumpkin lowering his shoulder. Second effort. Going to be short of the first down, however.
Might be one of the few times the Seahawks got stopped tonight. We haven't seen a lot of John Ryan tonight. But I think Pete Carroll's just trying to run this football and get this game over with, try and get out of here with as few bumps and bruises as possible and get ready for next week. Big game on the road against those Arizona Cardinals, division foe.
Yeah, knock on wood at this stage, maybe the biggest injury is a celebratory one with Red Bryant's chipped tooth. You know, Golden Tate left the game earlier. He's been on the sideline since then, so hopefully he's okay. Here's John Ryan. Joss got that one off. Flags come down as contact was made with Ryan after the punt.
That's going to be a first down for the Seahawks, 5 yards at least.
We have running into the kicker, number 47. 5-yard penalty reserves the first down.
Now, they were only 2 yards shy of the first, and there you see the collision made right there.
So when the Raiders finally stop the Seahawks, they give them the football right back with the run into the kicker penalty.
Chad Kilgore.
They can't do anything right tonight.
And so it'll give the Seahawks more time to run off the clock. Dennis Allen, his first year as head coach of the Raiders. Kind of a new regime there in Oakland. He came over after 1 year as defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, and Reggie McKenzie, the general manager, first new general manager the Raiders have had since 1963 when Al Davis took over.
Yeah, the late great Al Davis passed away, but he did a great job during his ownership tenure.
Craig Lumpkin, good job picking up the blitz, giving Portis time, and he just throws that away.
But Reggie comes in with a great pedigree. You know, he learned under the Green Bay Packers, and he's kind of changed things around there in Oakland. Everybody says things are just totally different, and they're moving in the right direction as far as their scouting department, their PR department. Everything has just really been turned over, and they really feel good about the direction of where the Raiders are going right now.
You know, people talk about coaching trees. The Packers lately doing a pretty good job with that general manager tree. Reggie McKenzie there in Oakland, John Snyder here with the Seahawks, both in the personnel department with the Packers over the last couple of years. Here's Portis, looking deep, going deep, overthrows Lockett, incomplete.
One thing Josh Portis can do is throw the football. Now what he just needs to do is be comfortable in that pocket, sit there, read it out, and make the throws he needs to make. Here Lockett gets behind the defensive back, but that ball just a little bit too far out in front. But he can throw the football.
Lockett been injured this preseason as well as he tries to battle for a spot. Lumpkin, nowhere. Caught at the line of scrimmage. And so Ryan will come back on to punt again. Seahawks ran less than a minute on that drive.
Looks like they're coming back out on the field and going to go for it on 4th down.
They're changing their mind. You can see both teams sending the team's unit back off the field. Seahawks going for it on 4th and long. Now the officials will stop play because the Raiders have called timeout. A little bit of everything on that one play. Defense, special teams, offense, defense, timeout. 4:42 left.
Called a fire drill.
Closing minutes of the preseason. Seahawks in control throughout this ball game, up 21-0. They decide to go for it here on 4th down. Don't forget, season ticket representative standing by. If you want to be a part of this 12th man here at CenturyLink, 1-888-NFL-HAWK is the number. 4th and 10 for Josh Portis out of the shotgun. Going up top. On a line, incomplete. His intended receiver, Charlie Martin, covered well. Brian McCann, the defensive back, and so they go for it on 4th and 10 and don't get it.
That was good coverage by McCann that time. He got that left hand in there and knocked that football away as Charlie Martin had about a half step on him, but
Four and a half minutes left. Bruce Irvin still on the field. I think those dreads have been flopping in the wind tonight. He's got a pair of sacks and maybe his best all-around performance so far in this preseason.
Yeah, we knew he was going to play a whole lot tonight, get a lot of snaps. They wanted to take a long look at him, get him some more reps as they get ready for the regular season, and he has really stepped his game up tonight.
On first down, Pryor steps up, tries to throw that one behind his intended receiver carrier. It falls incomplete. You know, Irvin, first-round pick this year, big night tonight, but the Seahawks took a lot of heat right after the draft. You never know how these drafts are going to work out until 2, 3, 4 years down the road. But they've had their rookies look pretty good so far in this preseason. You look at Russell Wilson, obviously. You look at Robert Turbin. You look at Bruce Irvin.
All these guys can play. And you look at Greg Scruggs has done a nice job. I mean, there's a lot of rookies that we can look at that have played well this preseason that have been drafted. So the scouting department's doing a great job bringing in guys that have produced. It's unfortunate you can't keep all of them, but at least you know you're drafting guys that can play.
Yeah, you can see it. We didn't even mention Bobby Wagner, who's starting at middle linebacker as a rookie. But all those guys contributing throughout this preseason and will contribute big time once the regular season starts next week in Arizona. Third down, draw play. Miller wrapped up by another rookie, Jay Howard, who already has a play for safety tonight. And, you know, Howard's another guy that we look at and you say, wow, another guy who could play. And that just keeps on going, including their 7th-round picks. And, you know, one was a defender who might be the starting guard at the beginning of the season. The other one, the last pick in the draft, has been the star of the preseason on defense so far before tonight when he didn't play.
And then Winston Guy is another guy they really like in their big nickel package as well as special teams. So these guys, I think, are going to make the football team, and they're going to be contributors this year.
Phillip Adams watches that one roll. Will be down at the 8-yard line. 3:08 on the clock. And these guys can start getting ready for the Arizona Cardinals week 1 of the season. And, you know, it's interesting that both the Cardinals and the Seahawks began training camp not knowing who their starting quarterback would be. Russell Wilson settled that pretty quickly for Seattle. Right now, Arizona's still trying to figure things out.
And the way they're figuring it out is really interesting. They're not going to play either one of those guys in the first, make that the last preseason game. They're going to make that decision based off practice. So,
Practice?
I don't know why.
We're talking about practice?
I don't know why Ken Wiesenhunt is doing that, but maybe it's to keep that decision away from everybody else, and he can make a decision only on his own behind the closed doors of practice.
Here's Jermaine Kearse. Kearse wrapped up right away. Didn't even make it back to the line of scrimmage on that play.
The Raiders have been blitzing almost every play now the last couple of series, just trying to do whatever they can to stop the Seahawks. They know they have a lot of young players in there that probably aren't used to seeing all those exotic blitz looks, and I think that's why they're blitzing so much to stop the bleeding. You know, I mean, it's just the way they've been gashing them in the running game. They had to do something to try and stop it.
Portis, and that one's dropped incomplete. Lavassier Tuanay can't make the grab.
Tuanay is another guy they like and they'd love to develop because of his size. He's about 6'4", 220. They think he can even get bigger. He has good speed and has done a nice job on special teams. Really can catch the football. Comes out of a great program at the University of Oregon.
That wide receiver battle is deep right now.
Again, all of those guys have made some type of contribution to this team except for those young rookies, and they really like them just because of their potential.
Saw 11 players on the screen, and most likely only going to keep 5 or 6. Tuanay, the intended receiver, that's thrown a little bit low by Portis.
Looked like Tuanay slipped and fell just as Portis was throwing the football. That's unfortunate because he would have been open. But these guys don't get a lot of chance to play with one another in practice. They just don't get a lot of snaps. So the timing being off is not something that should surprise you right now.
Plenty of time in this ball game. You see the difference in time of possession. 20 minutes. Seahawks with the advantage. John Ryan gets this one off. Brian McCann slips. Gets away. McCann down the sideline. Gets a block. Going to be out of bounds. Actually, they'll spot it back at the 31-yard line. Good return by McCann, giving the Raiders their best opportunity of the night to put some points on the board.
Yeah, that's probably their biggest play of the night, and they needed something to go right for them tonight, something they could, I guess, talk about on the plane on the way back home. McCann steps out of bounds there, but he was trying to just take it past John Ryan right here. I guess once you get to the punter, you say, look, if you can't beat the punter, then you shouldn't be back there returning kicks.
So the ball is actually spotted all the way back at the 37-yard line. Pryor, under pressure from Toomer, uses that big body to complete the pass to Miller, and Miller, forced out of bounds finally by Winston Guy at the 21-yard line, takes us to the 2-minute warning. Raiders being shut out all night long, with this by far their best opportunity of the night. Less than 2 minutes left.
Dave Wyman, Seahawks on top 21-0, on the verge of completing a perfect preseason. I don't have any complaints, do you?
Well, I get a little skittish about a 4-0 preseason. It just makes me nervous for some reason.
That's okay. We're optimistic all around. We'll have highlights, reaction, and analysis coming up on the postgame show. But for now, let's go back up to Kirk Moore, guys.
All right, guys, and the big challenge for the Seahawks defense right now is to see if they can hold on to the shutout and complete the preseason perfectly.
I know they don't have Janikowski here, their regular field goal kicker, if they have to try a field goal, but let's see if the Seahawks can keep him out of the end zone here.
Here's Pryor. Flushed out of the pocket again. And forced to just throw that one away. Here, Allen giving pressure.
Pierre Allen has been through there a few times tonight. We haven't really called his name just because he didn't get there to make the sack, but he's been putting good pressure all night long as Pryor throws that football away. Probably does a smart thing there. There was a lot of blue shirts chasing him.
Dominant performance tonight by this Seahawk defense. Starters, backups, not giving the Raiders any breathing room. High snap, Pryor. Throws that one. Eddie McGee makes the catch right at the 15-yard line. Clock down to 1:40 now.
Nice job by Pryor handling that high snap, able to get the football, get a grip of it, and complete the ball to McGee for about a 5-6 yard gain, 5-yard gain.
Raiders content to take their time, knowing they're not going to get, or assuming they're not going to get 21 points here at the end of the game. Allowing Pryor time to huddle up, call the play, because this might be the last opportunity he gets to play the game for a long time. Flags. False start.
False start on the offense. Number 72. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
Joseph Barksdale. So that'll back him up. So they lose time and field position.
Seahawks had a difficult time getting lined up that time. They finally got lined up right before the snap, but then there was a movement by the Raiders to push them back 5 yards.
Three-man rush. Pryor gets it out, fighting his way down near the 10-yard line before being forced out of bounds. Derek Carrier. I'm watching Brandon Browner. Look at those socks. Us big guys, we know we wear black to look slimming. If you've got legs like Brandon Browner, you don't wear white socks. It just highlights how skinny they are.
And he's got some bright, I think, light green or yellow shoes on to match.
I mean, he's got that big upper body and those skinny little legs.
Looks like a thoroughbred.
Here's Eddie Carmona on to attempt a field goal. High snap. But Leckler got it down, and from 31 yards out, the Raiders get on the scoreboard with 15 seconds left in the ball game. So they won't be shut out, and the Seahawks defense will not get a shutout. But this has been a very good preseason, not only for the Seahawks defense, but for them all around. You don't get too wrapped up in preseason stats, but they came in leading the league in biggest point differential, and tonight won't hurt it. 21-3. Most likely will be the final. We'll see what happens after this kickoff, but I mean, they've gotten the defense to score this year. Special teams has scored. The offense is settled down behind Russell Wilson, and I think there's reason for optimism as they go into the regular season.
Well, John Schneider and Pete Carroll both have to be very pleased with the way the team has progressed and where they are right now going into the season. Now it's just a matter of making those difficult decisions over the next couple of days as to how you trim this roster down to get the best 53 players and then the best practice squad you can get to start the regular season off with.
Roster cuts have to be made by everyone around the league. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific time is the deadline to get down to that 53-man roster. After everybody makes their cuts, that's when you can make the decisions about your practice squad. The 8 guys that get re-signed or signed guys from other teams who got cut.
A lot of guys' dreams are going to come to an end tomorrow. They try and make an NFL roster, one of the toughest things to do in sports.
Here's Carmona. Kicks it deep. Phillip Adams from the goal line. Out to the 24. So Josh Portis should come back out, take the final snap of the preseason, and the Seahawks will run their record to a perfect 4-0 in the third campaign under Pete Carroll. The regular season, of course, starting September 9th at Arizona, an NFC West matchup to start the year.
A very interesting schedule for the Seahawks the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season, no question about it. Whether it's division games or teams that are very good teams that were in the playoffs last year or maybe playoff bound this year.
So this will do it. Josh Portis. Victory position, takes the knee, and that'll do it on the preseason. Seahawks knock off the Raiders 21-3. Pete Carroll sees his team finish the preseason at 4-0. A perfect campaign and perfect momentum to go into the regular season.